Mine
All right.
says something went
Good.
wrong.
What does it say?
It says something went wrong when we're trying to play the video, but I don't know. Lulu says she sees herself, so I don't know. But
I think we're good. Are we good?
All right.
Can we all get a shout out underneath in comments if we're good, if you're watching, if you're tuning in, that we're all good. On my side, it says recording and good and live. So I think we are there. I think we're there. Please, somebody try to alert us if we are not.
Right? Tell us before we keep on keeping on.
Right. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 152 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I'm the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here this late afternoon on Pacific time, right? Or early evening on East Coast or Central time for this segment, special edition segment tonight, which today, if any of you didn't know and didn't check it out on our Facebooks, today is National Stop Bullying Day. And what an important thing that is, a needed topic to talk about. So I am so excited that two of my very good friends could join us back here on the show today, Miss Vicki Fitch and Dr. Lulu, here today to really lend to their perspectives, things that they have learned within writing books, being authors and speakers and inspirationalists and pediatricians and momatricians and all of that sort of thing, as to what they have found in this whole entire circle of mental health and bullying. And then, of course, I'll have all my other thoughts that are going to come.
All the good thoughts, right? All the ones that wrap together what Lulu and I have to say, and you just doctor them all up and put them together.
You know, Tammy, I was going to ask you, Tammy, are you in the East Coast?
No, I am on the Central. I'm in Central.
Okay, because I was going to say you're East, I'm Central, and she's Pacific, but no. Okay, never mind.
No. And you know what the thing is here? I live in Wisconsin, which when it's like,
It's the accent. We should totally know with that accent that she's from Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin.
I'm Nigerian. What do you want from me, you know?
And you're like, we're supposed to have flurries this weekend. So there's really nothing exciting happening here right now, except for maybe the Packers.
Okay, there you go. Right?
Yeah. That's about it. So with that, for those of you who maybe have not catched one of our other segments that Miss Vicki has been on, Dr. Lulu, Vicki, could you start out with just kind of giving a short introduction of yourself, just so people kind of have a scope before we get rolling?
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. I am Vicki Fitch. I'm an author, a speaker, international business consultant. My 12 Books, 12 Months project launched the You Are Enough Global Initiative to help people recognize their internal value so we can raise nations and people that are happier, confident, and more self-assured, so we stop the bullying that goes on inside and the external bullying that goes on.
All right, and Dr. Lulu.
Hey, my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. I am your board-certified pediatrician, speaker, best-selling author, podcaster, and blogger, and just your everyday girl, right?
Mm-hmm. Just your everyday girl.
Yes. I basically love the fact that I'm a parent coach primarily. I teach parents how to understand their teenagers better so we don't end up on the wrong side of suicide. As simple as that, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And when we talk about bullying, you know, bullying is an action, you know, that takes place, and it has really become so prevalent within our school systems, and it has even become really prevalent within our workplaces.
Yes.
And so I don't know, you know, Dr. Lulu, I know as being a pediatrician, and really honing in on that mental health for young children and teens, if you want to speak to the fact of, you know, where bullying is, you know, right now, and your practices that you teach, things that you advise parents on, things to watch for along those lines.
I think I'll start from, thank you so much for letting me go first. I think I'll start from something I learned last week when I was looking at the National Crisis Text line, because I signed up, you know, to become one of their counselors. And I realized on their page that 8 out of 10 children who call the crisis text line or who text them mention school. as the origin of their problem.
Oh,
School. So, of course, you can look at school how you like, but I'm going to go as low as kindergarten, even, you
yes.
know, but maybe definitely elementary school and most definitely middle school. I mean, it's like there's so much bullying about everything and anything. Today, I watched Kelly Clarkson show. She had a little girl who was 10 years old who left her hair, you know, like I did yesterday, like the big Afro Colin Kaepernick look. And then they teased her to no avail with the hair. And then she got home and her mom was like, look, listen. How did you feel having your hair like that? She said, I felt good. She said, okay, very good. You go back to school tomorrow because you feel good about the way you have your hair. And the next morning, the little girl records a show, a little, just 2 minutes, talking back to those people who try to make her feel little. And now she landed out on Kelly Clarkson's show. She met with Tracy Ellis Ross. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes you just have to stand up to the bully. There's just no way around it. And I was bullied when I was young. I wish I had the nerves to stand up then, but today I have the nerves and I can tell somebody else they have the nerves. But coming back to being a doctor and a pediatrician and a mom, I tell my parents, your child could be the bully. We have to assume across the board that our kids are the bullies. Then we can address the bully because the bully is somebody's child.
Right.
It is.
And you have to be accepting of that as a parent. And a lot of times parents want to be in denial. My child would never do that. They would never say that. And really, the pressures of school, of school today, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, like within our schools that we're having like tactical defense.
Right.
Schools,
true.
I mean, and how things have changed so much. You don't know if your child may be that person that is the bully or they're being bullied. And, you know, I think that the practices in the schools that they're teaching now, you know, if you see someone being bullied, if you see someone, you know, that may be hurting, if you see them, you know, sad, to go and tell someone to seek out help. I mean, that has to be out there more because there's so much hidden. And, you know, Dr. Lulu, don't you think that social media now, I mean, though it's a great device, you know, for us to be able to here we are on social media and we're talking and we're able to get out great content. It's a way that, you know, when we were kids, if somebody was going to bully you, well, you went home. It wasn't like they're going to call on your house phone. You didn't even have a pager. And when pager did come out, you had to put the number in and then you had to use a payphone to call it. So, you know, but now it's like the bullying can continue on.
And like there's no break.
And it gets worse because there's this thing called Snapchat. This morning, my son wanted me to pick him up after school and they have a dance for somebody's quinceañera. And either way, he was supposed to be there and he wanted his friend to join in. And so I was like, okay, sure. I mean, but then I was like, but wait, why are you just telling me now? Let me see where your friend asked to be picked up. And it was like, the Snapchat is gone. I guess it's maybe there for like 2 seconds. I don't know. Either way, he said the chat was gone. So I make that example because indeed I can bully the heck out of Vicki, and in the next 5 minutes, Vicki's mom can't even find what I said to Vicki because it's gone. And then the kids feel a need to stay connected, which I completely understand. But you have to prepare them for the fact that the monster is there. Remember, Vicki, I told you about, I call them keyboard gangsters. You had a different name for them. And they are there. They're waiting for you. So we have to brace our kids for the fact that it's coming. And so know what to do and what to say and all that.
I call them cowards, and that they are hiding behind the keyboards and attacking other people as a way to vent and let off that steam. And one of the things that I talk about that's a little bit different that we shared last time, Tammy, is that, you know, we have to peek behind the curtain. That when we go to the movies and we're so mad at the bully that's there, and we're get him, you know, we just want the other guys to win. And then they have that turn where you see behind the curtain where the reason the kid's so angry is he's being beaten at home, and you know he's working a job at night to try and get medicine for his mom because his dad won't pay for it, and you know, and then all of a sudden our hearts change because we have empathy. It doesn't change the behavior, it doesn't make the behavior okay, but it helps us connect with the person behind the pain. And when we can do that, then we can start to draw out and help those people to heal. And that's really my message of is starting out with the You Are Enough Global Initiative, to remember you are enough just the way you are. but that they are enough too. And again, don't confuse the concept of empathy with, I still say don't accept unacceptable behavior, period. Like bullying is not okay, but it's not okay to bully yourself either. And it's not okay to bully the bullies, which is, a whole dynamic that we have to, I call them pods, bullying pods,
Right.
where the bullied kids then want to bully the bully. And all we're doing is perpetuating the problem instead of getting in there and helping people to heal.
And I think too, then a lot of times parents get involved with that too. And then they go back to, well, I'm going to bully and you bullying my kid, instead of getting the source and trying to find a way within our school systems, getting that principal involved, getting the school psychologist involved, sitting down, because you're right. What is happening, that the kids that scream the loudest and make the most ruckus are usually the ones that need to be loved the most.
And they're the ones that we need to watch out for as adults, when we talk about, we want to throw in suicide. Those strong ones, those ones that say, oh, I'm fine, oh, I'm okay. They're the ones we need to look out for. So you're very, very right. We cannot take anything for granted, can't leave any door unopened, any stone unturned when we're looking for answers. But yeah, going back a little bit to what Vicki said, Vicki, you're very right. Like we always say, those people who get hurt and not get hurt, they hurt each other. So going back to, for me, I just feel like as a victim, I used to be a victim, even a victim of domestic violence. I never spoke up for myself. I never spoke up. So I am in the group of, Vicki, you take care of those bullies and look into their behind the curtain. I'm taking care of the victims, because the victims, unfortunately, they have no voice. When I was being bullied by my ex-husband, nothing you could have told my parents, nothing you could have told anybody would have prepared them for the fact that, he looks so nice. He looks so this. But he was verbally and emotionally killing me. And I had to get out of the entire marriage to live. So I say, get back if you can, or get out. But get out for a kid will be call a teacher, get help, talk to your parents. Do you know that my neighborhood had a neighborhood party last weekend? And a little boy, a little 10-year-old boy, got in a fight in the pool. And I don't know what happened. Somebody punched somebody, he got a bloody nose. Everyone was focused on the kid who was beating him up. And no one said anything to the little boy. So I come in to speak to my son, and they're like, oh yeah, you're the doctor, right? Well, that kid over there. I'm like, wait, so it takes me to come from where I'm coming. Like, what about you guys who are sitting now watching this thing and going fight? It's like, we have to change the whole system, the whole mindset, change everything.
And sometimes you find that those kids that are doing that, you look at the way their parents are carrying themselves, or their adults that are around them that are in their circle. And those are some of the examples and strategies that their parents or those adults that are helping to take care of them are using for them to cope. Some of those skills of always pinning it on someone else, as to always picking something bad out about, someone. And I know me and Vicki were briefly, chatting about this before the show, is that I was absolutely shocked. I'm not a person that gets into drama. If you know me off of the On Air Advocate, you will never see me. I don't get political. I don't get religious. You know what I'm saying? I have so many things in my life that I'm like, you know what? I focus on me, my family, and making sure that we're strong and upholding ourselves with integrity and value every day. And that is it. But I watched the segment from Ellen, and I was like, go Ellen, go Ellen. I was so excited to hear her speak. And then I was reading on Twitter, because they were like, people had said bad comments. And it was the first time that I've ever scrolled. And I think there was like 70,000 comments. And
what happened? What happened to Ellen?
Oh, well, let us tell you. But I was like, I couldn't believe the amount of time and energy people were taking to put anger into these comments. So Vicki, I'm going to let you fill in Dr. Lulu and yours as to what happened in a short
Absolutely. So if you guys didn't see it yet, yesterday, it was not a big deal. Ellen was actually sitting at a game next to George W. Bush, our previous
Oh,
president. And people started tweeting her, Ellen, how could you, a gay liberal, be next to this conservative ex-president? It's some kind of insult and insanity that she would not be like throwing things at him or throwing mud at him. It was unbelievable. And so she stood up and said, hey, well, not at that time, but when she came onto social media and said, hey, guys, I am friends with him.
you're friends with
It's
him. Yeah, I saw
okay
that.
for us
Yeah.
to be friends with people who are different. We don't have to believe the same things. We don't have to do that. But why are we trying to create hate? I mean, she didn't exactly say that. I'm paraphrasing my own portion in there, but that was her message. Why are we hating on people for being in the same, area together,
Right.
regardless of whether they're friends or not friends? And she's saying, can we not be kind to everyone? Can we
Yes,
not
I saw that.
represent kindness?
And it was that message, just like from the movie Wonder, of the whole bottom line, the premise of all of this is to be kind.
Kind.
Kind, kindness.
And when we talk about bullying and everything like that, we are all going to have our differences. And we know for bullying that so much of it is the unknown. You see someone that's not the same as you. You see
And
someone
that's it.
the same as you, and that brings on something to pick on or worry about or have something to say. And the bottom line is, if we just let people be different, it's okay, and we
Yes.
practice kindness across the board.
Across the
You know,
board.
I mean, how those all things. And so, she made a loud shout
Yeah.
statement to everybody that the bottom line is to be kind. I know she even talked about, that she has friends that wear fur. She doesn't
Yeah.
believe in
Yes.
people wearing animal fur,
Right.
but it doesn't mean she's not going to be your friend. And me and Vicki, before you hopped on, Dr. Lulu, we were chatting about, what about in our own families? I'm certain we have brothers, sisters, that they like one thing, you like the other. What are they, just not going to be your family anymore? You're just going to, I'm not, you're not.
You don't agree with me, you're out. Like, I
Spend
don't
the
even
rest of their
acknowledge
life
you
trying
anymore.
to convince them to be different, and we spend so much energy trying to convince them to be different, and then in the end, it's like all that time is being wasted when you could be bonding, you could be sharing experiences. And because I'm different from you, like this morning, like not this morning, but 5 minutes ago, you made a comment about where's that hair, because you noticed that hair, and I'm like, well, you know what? Because of the kind of hair that I have, I could change it literally overnight to this kind of hair, and it's still okay. You're not going to say, oh, you know what, because you changed your hair and you didn't ask me first, that's
I don't like you anymore.
I know.
Yes. And, and I think that's so strong, when we think about bullying, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is school, right? Is school-age children. What's happening within our schools, kids being bullied. But I think that, especially like I saw like 3 people this last week on my feed that said that they're going to get off of social media for even the election. I'm like, you know what? That's sad. It's sad, the fact that we can't share family and friend photos. We can't just talk about something happy. Is that already people are fearing, okay, well, it's going to be argumentative and we're going to all start arguing and we're going to start fighting, because really that's a form of bullying. If it's making you to the point that you want to leave a room, wouldn't you consider that a form of bullying? If you feel so much like you're going to be attacked, I feel like as adults.
And I think if they are being attacked, absolutely. But I also find, and tell me what you guys think about this, that there's such a culture of people needing drama, that they need to throw out their pain to find the people that will resonate with it. Kind of like with the Ellen thing. They throw, oh, how could you? And then you can see how the tribes started like collecting, right? Yeah, he's an awful rat. And it was like, that's where people all of a sudden they get rid of their pain because they become the center of attention or the center of some kind of drama. And I think that that's what can sometimes happen with families too. And if we choose to step back from it and just say, wow, that's interesting, right? Instead of getting in there with this craziness that I have some crazy family members, they and like, right? And I could choose to go, you're full of it, that's a lie. It's like, oh, that's interesting, right? We have to choose to step back and just be instead of get in there. And it's the same thing with social media. If you don't agree with something that somebody wrote, then
Oh.
snooze them, if you need to, or just
Right.
don't go. You don't
Or-
read it. It's not that, it's not that hard.
Tammy, I was going to piggyback on what you said earlier on. When people hear the word bullying, and I think Vicki and I touched on this on the podcast, when people hear bullying, the first thing they think about is physical.
Mm-hmm.
But just like we're talking about now, majority of bullying, the most common part of bullying is verbal and then emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Even before I ever slap you or
Right.
hit you or take your
Absolutely.
shoes, I have verbally put you down or mentally put you down. And that's what they try to do to Ellen. And kudos to Ellen. I didn't watch the thing, but I did see her response on social media while I was scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I knew. I didn't realize that was what. But it's funny how people attacked Ellen. I mean, let's unpack that. Let's, as an example, there are two people sitting next to each other. Why attack me? Oh, Uche, I can't believe you're sitting next to Tammy, who is from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Tammy, no. What about Tammy, who's sitting next to me from Nigeria? Like, why can't we, Tammy and I, show an example of how a Nigerian and a Wisconsinian can be friends and,
Right.
learn from each other's differences.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, and appreciate them. And I think that is so missing in our world today, is the appreciation of us being different. Because could you imagine if there was a million Vickies and a million Tammys and a million Dr. Lulus? I
Yeah.
mean,
7 billion, because the earth is 7 billion. All of us are me. All 7 billion of them are me. I would check out.
Yeah.
It's like, who wants to look at themselves in the mirror every day? And you know what? But you know what, Tammy? That came from a deep place. That what you just said now, we're laughing about it, but that is the primary bottom line of why your fingers are all different. And I said this last time, cut off your thumb and then you will appreciate the function of the thumb. Why every finger has to be different to produce a hand, a functional hand. It's a very granular level, but it's the same thing with you and I. And I initially I thought I was on the Central Standard Time, you are Eastern, she's Pacific. Either way, we're three different women who have come together for a particular cause.
Right.
Now, after this, everybody's back where they are. But this is a great way of showing that you can unite in one thing and it's okay. Allow other people to just be. So back to what Vicki says about the bully in your head, it is a place of pain that those folks on Twitter are coming from.
Yeah.
Brain is telling them all kinds of lies. Attack. Don't care anything, just attack. It's a place of pain, severe pain, for you to be able to talk about it and then think about it and then write about it and then go to war because of it. It's like, really?
Right.
But isn't that the bully in your head? Vicki, don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tammy does too, is that we're recognizing that, she's being an advocate. She's trying to help speak up for people in different areas and arenas. And that's what we're bringing to the table. And when we can find a common ground, which is what we're all looking for, when we can find a common ground, you can find a place to connect. It's when we choose not to, like you're saying about the Nigerian and the Wisconsin, I'm from California, a lot of people, we hear it all over. Oh, you're from California. Like, oh, like you're a snob, like you're awful and mean and rich and we hate you. It's like, that where did those come from? Because you couldn't come farther than the truth for me as a person, and yet, so we have to reach out and we have to cross those lines of just being who we are anyway. And then people can either love me or hate me. And that's the good thing. When you're confident and you recognize your own value, you worry less about what people think. I mean, I want you both to like me, but if you don't, it's not going to change who I am, because I know who I am. And that's where the bullying part comes in, where when kids don't know, or even adults don't know who they are, they are so moldable. When you start critiquing them and making them feel bad, they start to try and become what you want, so you'll stop. And then they try and push it off on someone else so they don't feel it anymore. And that's why and what I talk about is getting in early, like preschool. We teach the You Are Enough campaign in preschools, and teaching kids to recognize their value from when they're little, so they don't allow the bully births. So, because we talked about this last time, but it's so worth repeating. Happy, confident people do not wake up in the morning trying to hurt other people. They just don't. It's people that are in pain that do that. And we have to keep on spreading the word and trying to help people recognize that so we can stop.
Right. And I think when we look at the world, obviously this is an advocacy show that really speaks to all of our communities with different abilities and mental and medical illnesses and those caregivers. I think that, you know, for our different abilities community, so much of bullying takes place, again, when we talk about the unknown, you know, and so we have talked a lot about over the last year or two, I've talked with so many parents that even talk about going into the school with their child and having a day that they come in and explain their child's condition to the class. Tell them what it's all about. I have the coolest, and I think they might be on again this month. It's Pete's Diary. If people don't know it, they should go look it up. But Pete is the coolest kid in the whole wide world. I think he's graduated now, but he has what is the thing in his ear? He has inside of his ear.
A cochlear implant?
Yeah, but he shows kids, it's like a magnet. Like he can hold things on his head and he can do things, and it's super cool. And it makes him different. And him and his mom, they go into schools. He's had tons of surgeries. He has all different medical conditions, but it's really showing that it doesn't make anything wrong or scary. It's just, it's different, and understanding that there are some really cool things that he's learned that come along with that. And so I
Tammy,
think,
you know what? I'm so glad you said that. That's one of the things I tell my patients. When whoever is different, for whatever, how they're different, when you walk into that room, start by saying, hi, my name is Dr. Ume. I am Nigerian. I have a Nigerian accent, or whatever you want to say. I have dreadlocks. However, take the power from them by giving it to them first. And then they can't pick on your accent because, wait, you already told them you have an accent. You know, whatever. Just tell them, I'm the lady with the cross eye. And by the way, I've had 6 surgeries. All of a sudden, you turn them into compassionate. Oh, wait. No, she's had 6 surgeries, okay? Don't make fun of her. Versus, what's wrong with your eye? What's wrong with your eye? Or, you know, or whatever. I don't care.
Sure.
However you're going to throw it. But they're coming from a place of lack of knowledge. Honestly, it's ignorance in the end. Bottom line.
Yeah.
right, because knowledge is power, and even
it is beyond powerful.
You know, looking to pediatricians that specialize in this, looking into different authors and speakers and whatnot that specialize in this for adults, and strategies and things that they have found that work, because all that's so true. When we present ourselves and we're like, here I am. I remember when I said that I'm a limited edition.
Yeah, exactly.
When you embrace that, and people know that there's nothing for them to, you know what I'm saying? What is there to say to that? So what I'd like to do is that just before we kind of wrap this up, is that I remember, Vicki, I think you have some key points, some words, and I can't remember your words that you use to follow, some things that can help you, as well as Dr. Lulu, possibly some strategies for parents, or parents are seeing something. What are some evident signs of bullying that they might want to, you know, seek, you know, the help of someone else if they're seeing some of these things within their kids? So I don't know which one of you want to go first.
Vicki, you want me to go first?
Sure, absolutely.
So I don't have any special signs or anything. I mean, as far as like Vicki has a whole mnemonic to go with it. But for me, I just want parents to know their kids. Just honestly, just know your child. Now, that being said, I missed my son that was a bully. I missed my son that was bullied. Okay, I missed them. But you can't know everybody. But I mean, there's some telltale signs like, I don't know, choke marks, for instance, losing their shoes or losing their books, or, you know, just losing stuff. That's physical, what you can see. But if a child who was very happy going to school last week and last month, all of a sudden on a school day, they have stomach pain every school day. And on the weekends, they don't have stomach pain. As an example, make sure that there's not something else going on in the school. And I don't want to blame just the school, in as much as we said 8 out of 10. Sometimes it's a family member. I had a guest on my podcast recently whose grandfather was the bishop, and he was molesting her for years. And she did not want to go to grandpa's house. So an example is that little girl or little boy who doesn't want to go to that uncle, or starts crying when the babysitter is coming, whatever, just cueing to the signs. Don't get off your phone. Focus on your child's
Get
emotional.
off your phone.
Yeah, they will show you the stuff. They will show you whether you see it or not. I don't know. Four out of 5 kids who die by suicide leave signs. So that's 80%. So the signs are there. Whether you cue into them or not is up to you, but the signs are there. And then when you do see the signs, believe your child. If your child tells, believe your child. I don't know any 7-year-old that tells you that somebody's molesting them and is making it up. For what reason? Or that someone is being bullied at school, believe your child. When I was told that my son was bullied, I went to school that afternoon and we took care of it in school that day. Yes, it was slam dunk, but I needed him to know that I just won't tolerate it. Not go to your room and we'll talk about it later. No, because this is somebody's child you're hurting.
Right.
And I don't know what that child is going to do, what that pain you're causing is going to make that child do to themselves. So you can't just, and that child must see that your parents are reacting like that. You know? And then, of course, talk to the school teachers, talk to the counselors, encourage your kids to speak up because they do know the bullies. They don't want to say anything because they don't want to become the victims, but encourage them to go in numbers. There's power in numbers. You know, if you don't want to go back, then go with 3 or 4 of you. Somebody would take them. You know what I mean? Like, just give them those options because they might not even think about those options. And then this guy, boom, there's so much bullying going on here. I encourage parents to, number one, wait till 8th grade before your child gets a cell phone. It's okay. My baby son just turned 15, October 1st. He just finally got a working cell phone that I bought with my money at 15. There's nothing wrong with him. He didn't miss out on anything, you know? So I just want parents to just take a deep breath and just imagine if this was you. What would you want your parents to do? And then do it. Because kids have not changed from the days of Noah. Parents, you need to be the one that's going to change though, because you have to be the change. You have to be the one to change. Oh, Vicki, you change it. No. I need to change the way I see Vicki so that Vicki stops being a problem for me. Something like that as an example. So yeah.
I always say, you know, being the mom of 4, I know, Dr. Lulu, you have 3, right? Or do you have 4? You have 3, Vicki?
2.
You have 2, I have 4. Well, we got a whole like school bus. You put us all together. But I always say to, you know, other parents that, you know, my best recommendation of what I've learned, you know, that you can do better as a parent, you know, like you reflect back as your kids get older, like I could have done this or this or this, is keep your eyes wide open. You know what I'm saying, at all times. And I know there's all the stressors in the world that we all have, and we all have to make money to support our families and to be there, but eyes wide open. And if there is anything you ever see within your kids, that they are regressing, they're not talking, they're withholding, there's a new sadness. I always say, you know what, you never want to be the parent that says, you know, I saw that. But I thought maybe they were just trying to seek attention. Oh, I saw that. I thought that, you know, they were just kind of being, you know, they're whiny, you know, as kids argue and fight and brothers and sisters and whatnot. I'm always like, you know what, take the extra step because you never can turn back if you didn't hear their call. You know what I'm saying? And something happened. So take that extra step. And if that means going and seeking, you know, help, going to the school and talking, just saying, hey, I used to do that all the time for my kids. I would send emails to their teachers in high school. I'd be like, don't tell them that I'm sending an email, but he's been coming home and he's not talking a lot and he's going in the room. I'm worried. What are you seeing in school? Who is he sitting by? What is he talking about? I understand we're all stressed, but you need to take that extra mile because you never can, you know, once it goes to that next step, what we've talked about mental health and so much prevalent suicide within young people today is you can't go back, you know?
And if your child is the bully, what to do? Because a lot of parents don't know what to do. And you know what? You still love your child. I still love my son. I still love him to pieces. And today he's a big giant, but he's a gentle giant, but he wasn't always like that. And so I loved him into conforming. So you don't, in other words, don't put him down. Yeah, you're not going to tolerate it, but you're still going to love on them because like Vicki said, it's coming from a place of hurt. So love on them anyway. Explain to them why that is not good. You know your child, you know the level you can come in at your child, come in from there and let them realize that this is not right. This is not good. Worst case scenario, role play. Do what you got to do, but get to your kid before they are the reason somebody else's child dies.
Absolutely. Well, and Tammy, you were asking about, how to put some of this stuff in perspective. One of the things that we find with kids, and that's one of the reasons I wrote A Vic the Bully in Your Head, is that there's a section in there about, the bully in your feed, the bully at your school, the bully, because bullies are all over the place. They're not just, there's a bully in your head, and then we have them everywhere. So it's hard for us to get away. And one of them is giving them the vernacular and the language to say things without being the narc, right? Without being that kid that everybody, gangs up on. And so inside the book, I provided opportunities for people to think of things differently. Like we were talking about the molestation, right? That's an awful thing, but kids don't know how to say that. They don't know what to say. And I call them Uncle Ichabod. When a child's feeling uncomfortable around an adult or around another child, and that kind of uncomfort, we call him Uncle Ichabod. You don't have to say, he's like Uncle Ichabod. Like then you just know, okay, it's a different kind of feeling. It's not I don't like you. It's I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. Something's not right. And then, inside there as well, it says the two most powerful words in the world. There's two: stop it, right? When someone is getting bullied, someone is getting, is something's happening, that people need to step up and stand out. And there was a great example recently with that, though, with Burger King. I did a live stream on it. I called the junior being bullied, right? And so there's a kid that it was set up, but the people didn't know. And this kid is being bullied. He's a junior in high school, and he was being bullied relentlessly. And all the people are just sitting there. And so they bullied the Whopper. They punched the Whopper, like it gave these people this burger that was destroyed. And the people are coming up, with the burger. And so eventually then they said to him, but you're coming up about your burger, but your burger, he goes, because the manager would go, did you bully that burger? And he's like, yeah, I bullied the burger. Like, what's the deal? And then the people are looking like, what's going on? And he said, yeah, I bullied the burger. And you'll come up and tell me that the burger got bullied, but what about the child? The child was getting bullied and no one said anything. And so trying to bring awareness, and I'd say kudos to Burger King, because I'm sure they got some backlash from that. But the fact is that we do have to step up and stand out, and we need to honestly, and I know this is going to stress some of you parents out. I have a 17-year-old. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about, that this is not going to be popular. But when another child's being bullied, you need to step up. I don't care if those kids are goofing around.
That's right.
I do not care. Do you hear me? I'm going to say it again. I don't care. You say something and then they go, oh no, we're just goofing around. You look in the eyes of the child. You'll know if that kid's going, yeah, we're just kidding, or please save me. If those eyes are saying, please save me. And you take on that responsibility and say, hey, you know what? I was just going to go grab something to eat. Why don't you come with us? And a child to just say, when someone's getting bullied, just say, stop it. You don't even have to say anything else. Stop it. It gives people the idea, first of all, that they're not alone. I use this hashtag Yana in my book series, stands for you are not alone, because that is one of the most powerful things in the world. When you're going through a trauma or a trial, but someone, even one person says stop it, or one person that walks beside you and says come on, that can be the difference between you wanting to hurt yourself and you feeling like you can make it. And that is what we're trying to do, is just bridge the gap a little bit at a time, a little tiny bit, to where we can step up and stand out.
Vicki, you're going to be so proud of me today at the bus stop, because I normally walk the dog, and I had like 15 middle school kids going to school, and I told them about National Bullying Day and whatnot, and I said, so what do you say? And I really wanted them to just tell me. I said, what are you going to do? No, I said, what are you going to do today for National? And all of them were like, stop it. Everybody was like, because I told them a while back, and then they were like, everybody was like, stop it. So I said, very good that you remembered to say stop it. But I just meant to ask you, what are you going to do today to help mark National Bullying Day? And they're like, stop it. I said, okay, very good. So yeah, I mean, it's very simple. I love the analogy you gave about anybody at all saying something. Mm-hmm. In my days when I was bullied in the school bus on the way to school in Nigeria, in elementary school, no one said anything. It was like the whole bus will just gang up against poor little me. One time, one person said something, but majority of the time, no one. Mm-hmm. And now looking back, I just like, I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about those kids, but nobody said anything. And so for me, I am the person that's walking down the street and walking up to people that are arguing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my kids are, Mom, you're going to get punched in the eye. I said, okay, well, maybe I'm going to get punched in the eye. Maybe I'm not, you know, but I'm going to say something. So.
Well, and I wonder if, you know, in polling our audience listening, or if people catch us on the replay, how many people would say that if they were bullied as a young child or as a kid or even as an adult in the workplace, do people really stand up and say something? You know, my guess would be probably about 10% of people stand up and really voice. And I think that's what all these campaigns are about. When we talk about the awareness days, National Stop Bullying Day, Stomp on Bullying, is that, you know, creating that space for people to realize that we need to use our voices.
Amen.
We need to say something. If you
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, because at my last job, we had the one kiddo, he was 19. And then in a doctor's office, and he's gay, obviously. And the nurses were they just ate him up. And I didn't say much because I'm the doctor, I'm also an employee. But then one day he walked out of the space and I said, guys, you know what? I don't like you guys doing that anymore. I want you guys to stop. Just stop doing that. No, he's fine. What do you want him to say? There's 6 of you and just him. He's not fine. Look at his body language. He's going along with it, but that doesn't mean he's fine. And that was the last time I saw them do that. But now you say that, I just remember, I did speak up once. I'm glad I did.
When I think that for, you know, parents too within the workplace, you know, I mean, obviously if a parent sees their own child being bullied, they're going to get upset within that. But I think also having that conversation, having 4 kids and having my house for years full of kids all the time, when they all start, you know, spouting off at the mouth, I'm like, what are you saying? Is that being a good friend? To my own kids, to the other kids that are at your house.
Exactly.
Let them be aware that what you're hearing in your ears isn't kind.
It's not okay.
And, you know, a heads up. And I think even in the workplace, when people say things, I've turned to people before and been like, did you really just say that? Like, that's not nice.
That's not good.
I've actually said it to parents of children, like quietly, like when the kids leave, I'll look at them and go, really? I'm just curious. Do you think that he feels really supported right now? Because I know you didn't mean it that way, but my heart hurt when I heard that. Like we have to, it's not easy, and it's not easy if you're not the in crowd. You still have to be yourself. You know, we talked earlier too, and I know we have to wrap up here, Tammy, but you know, my son has Asperger's. And so the autistic community, and I've worked really hard with him as, you know, when he was little, trying to help him make eye contact and shake hands and to really kind of assimilate so people don't specifically, you know, throw him as an outcast. But there are so many children that are not maybe as high of functioning as he is and are relentlessly bullied. There are kids with Down syndrome that are bullied. So bullying is whoever's the easiest target. And so the bullies that bully kids, then those kids look for the easiest target, and it just keeps rolling downhill. And we really have to just keep, you know, we have to stop. And in the workplace, absolutely. We've got you have to stand up for yourself. And I know that might be hard, but you know, you don't have to be mean. We don't have to be confrontational. When someone says, you know, you're really lousy at that, to say, oh, I'm sorry, how would you have done it better? We can turn things around and stand up for ourselves without attacking other people. And that's what I try and help them with is coming up with the HCI. How can I ask this differently? Or how can I stand up for myself without creating confrontation with that makes people think about what they're doing? And I think we can help kids do that as well, Tammy. And I really appreciate your show, and we have some really great comments. I see Melanie and Hans and Jeremy here, who I know they've been bullied themselves, and I just want to thank them for being here and sharing that out.
Yes. And I can't wait. As always, here at the On Air Advocate, when we are done with the show, we will comment on all of those and, you know, continue this chatting. But I thank you both for being here today. It is so important and impactful to our communities for us to all step up, for us to all use our voices. And I know the whole month long, it is, you know, like National Bullying Prevention Month, as well as today being National Stop Bullying Day. And so actively talk to your kids.
Yes.
You know, talk to your kids, but also I think what you were talking about, Vicki, sometimes we got to turn and we got to get the bully out of our own head, the things that we're thinking, and lose some of that negativity. Because you're so right that someone who is happy and joyful and grateful doesn't wake up in the morning wanting to make someone else feel bad.
No.
You know?
And don't think that because it's an adult on the receiving end. Last year, we had the nurse that went viral in the UK who killed herself because she was bullied at work. So don't think that it's only kids that these things hurt, or because it's an adult, suck it up. Not everybody can. Not everybody can suck up whatever. And what you don't want ever is a case whereby the person, quote unquote, says, oh, you think I'm weak? You think, because that's what the Columbine shooters did. They were bullied relentlessly. And then they said, I'm going to get back. I'm going to show you that I'm not, you know what I mean? Like things like that. So it's important that we're saying all this, but at the granular level, just remember that they're human beings. These are people. You don't know what someone is dealing with. And I didn't always know this. I went to a boarding high school where all girls, and it was like, oh Lord. One of my classmates is watching from high school, and it was, and I didn't know any better. We did not know any better. But now that you know better, do better. Do better.
Exactly.
Do better. And definitely continue this as adults. Us working on ourselves as well. And, there are so many resources that are out there. So after this, Vicki, Dr. Lulu, will you guys drop below all your links and where people can find you guys, and your books and all of that, and your resources, so if someone wants to reach out to you directly?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Tammy.
I found one brand new, Be the One To. Vicki, do you know about that? Be the One To movement. Do you know about that?
Kind of, but I think Tammy's trying to end the broadcast, so we better not start on a new topic. We better do a whole nother one on that one.
Yeah. No, but it's just the same thing. In other words, just be the one to say stop it. Be the one to do something. Just be the one. I like that. But yeah, we'll write it down, Tammy.
Yes, and drop them all below, and make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. And tomorrow is World Mental Health Day. And so that all intertwines. We're here with bullying today, but so much of that bullying as people age and whatnot, and as adults, leads into our mental health.
Absolutely.
And so make sure to catch our broadcast tomorrow morning bright and early here for us Central Time at 6:30 a.m. Standard Time. So you might want to watch that on the replay, unless you're someone, and Vicki, that would be real early for you. That would be 4:30 a.m. in the Pacific Time, 7:30 East Coast Time tomorrow morning for World Mental Health Day. I thank you ladies both so much again for your dedication to what you do in serving with such passion and purpose, and for being with us here for almost an hour this evening on National Stop Bullying Day. If you guys want to know any more about the On Air Advocate, you can go to onairadvocate.com, and you can find all of our resources there. And if you want to join our private community, head up to the top of this Facebook page and hit the blue button, and that will let you in. So on that note, thank you ladies very much. Hopefully we'll see you maybe again next month.
Of course. We'll make it a monthly thing. Guys, see you later. Thank you so much.
What's happening next month?
I don't know, but we'll figure something out.
Okay, I'm in.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.